I don't go to get one of those stupid network errors again. Okay, so white to play. Okay, we have the Benoni. We have the Benko Gambit. Okay, interesting opening. Let's see if he accepts. Okay, so this is actually a great opening for black, uh, but white needs to know what to do here. Now there are other ways for white to have played this. He didn't do it those ways, but one idea is to advance this pawn to e4. We can't do it safely now because he'll just take it, right? But we prepare it with knight c3. Now white has one idea is to play e4, and we will give up castling. But then we're going to castle the king by hand. We're going to play g3 and king g2. Now, while all this is going on by white, whatever setup white looks at here, and we'll talk about more of them in a moment. Let me get rid of the arrows. While all this is, whatever white's doing, black usually follows up with d6, g6, bishop g7, castles, and then knight bd7. And then after that, black will develop his queen to one of these squares. We'll talk more about that and see how this goes. The other idea is to fianchetto this bishop and not advance the e-pawn and get castled this way. There's many ways for white to play this. Let's see how he does. Okay, so knight c3. Now, it might be more accurate to play d6 first. And the reason I think we want to play d6 first. There are some variations where white will throw this in. He'll sack the pawn back to confuse the black position a little bit. Okay, what's confusing about it? Well, number one, this square is no longer protected by the pawn. Okay, number two, there's double pawns, and d7 is not going to be open for a knight, and black needs to do that. So d6 here for white would be a very interesting move. Now black should play d6 and stop that nonsense. He doesn't. Now white can play d6 again. Okay, so now he's trying the path of castling this way. So black will probably castle, but he really needs to play d6. Okay, white needs to play d6. No, I hope he plays d6 now. There he did. Okay, so both sides missed a little bit here, but white will probably castle, and black will probably play here. So one idea of the, now that we've gotten more of the book position, these bishops have stayed on the board, and one plus for black when that happens is that the A file is open. Now here the A file is a little bit blocked, but the bishop on A6 is a nuisance. It's pinning the pawn on E2, so white still has his work cut out for him. Now, in theory, let's talk a little bit more some of the ideas. Pal Benko wrote a great book about this back in the 1970s. He named it after himself. He played it. He deserved it named after himself. He gives 3 ways you can, let me make sure I'm still broadcasting. Yep. Okay. 3 places to put the queen. Each one has a positive and a negative. If you put the queen on A5, you block the A file. If you put the queen on B6, you block the B file, from a rook. If you put it on C7, the queen doesn't have threats down on A2 and B2, okay, or any square before leading up to those squares, okay. Benko explains all this in his book. I recommend you find it. I had a copy. Dog I had about 30 years ago decided to make a meal out of it, and the spine was gone, and it was a mess. I just gave it to a student that didn't care. He wanted the information. It was still readable, but it's available if you look for it. I've known of people who found it. It's written in English descriptive notation. You got to learn that if you want a little plus on your opponents. Be able to, D4 is pawn to queen 4. D5 is pawn to queen 4. It's not pawn to queen 4, pawn to queen 5. It's pawn to queen 4, pawn to queen 4. Anyway, get off my soapbox. Let's see. Another idea I've used because I played the Benko is black will advance that pawn to c4 at some time too. And, the idea is to clear c5 for a knight. And if the e pawn is advanced, that knight might entrench itself on d3. So probably the logical move for white is to play rook e1 here with the idea of e4. But, if black can win one of these pawns, the other one it becomes weak, and if it's a goner, black has 6 pawns against 5 and a pass pawn to boot. They're all on one side of the board, so to speak. They're all connected, but it's a winnable game for black. Okay, so rook e1. Now knight b6. I don't think that's the most... it takes away the idea I was talking about, but I'm sure it's playable. Now he opens up this diagonal, so, for the pawn sacrifice, white is still slightly behind in development. He hasn't developed his bishop yet. But notice one thing. Black doesn't have these files at his disposal. He's got critters in the way. Now, that's just a waiting move. It's a difficult position for white to play, to convert that extra pawn. Because black just has a super solid game, but I'm going to think, bishop e3 or bishop d2 would have been superior. Okay, now we don't have this because this drops, but we have this. Okay, so if black doesn't come up with anything, white's gonna be a piece ahead. I'm not a piece, a pawn ahead. Okay, we got to watch this square. Okay, so white's still working his way out of it. Black's got his initiative that he will get in the Benko. Now the natural looking move to play for black is rook here. Okay, so he's going to win his pawn back at the price of the two bishops. Okay, a3 is limited. I guess black has gotten what he can get out of it. His knight on c4 does look pretty strong. Attacks and defends. Okay, now he's maybe going to try to deliver a checkmate, or threaten to. Okay, let's see. So we have time to play this. Might not be a bad move, because then we can swing this rook over here. Yeah, I know ND quite well. Good job. F6. Now rook EB1. See? He's playing the same moves I would play. So white's giving back the pawn. He does have a pass pawn, but we have to make sure we keep it if we're we're white. If we lose that, we're losing this game. So it's a tricky opening the Benko Gambit. A little bit of trades. Now black has the file, so I would. Well, we also have a threat down here, so we can't jump on the file. Oopsie, that's risky. Because the idea is to try to trap the bishop, but it takes 3 moves just to take it, and white has ways to try to get out of it. But we're just hanging this knight. And black needs to win this bishop or it's all over.
Check.
Now black needs to find a way to get his queen here, meaning he has to get to here, and I don't see how he's going to get there. Now white's offering a rook, but I guess, let's see. Queen takes, check, king up forced, queen check, king up forced, check, king here. Now we have a check here, but we're running out of checks. King up. And while all this is going on, we have to make sure we don't get checkmated. Because, black is threatening a check on f1. So let's see what happens. What if he took the rook? I'm not sure white has that. I could be wrong. Actually, though, we have this move.
Check.
That changes things. I just saw that. Now it's all
Checkmate.
over. But for the fun of it, let's look at what I was looking at, huh? Doesn't hurt to look. Right? Okay, queen takes. Queen check.
Check.
King up. Check.
Check.
King up. Now, if this pawn were here, this would be mate. Well, if the dog hadn't stopped to relieve himself, he would have caught the fox. Right? So, we stop and play g4. We're fighting
Check.
for our life. It can't go here. This is mate. And this doesn't look too healthy for white.
Check.
King here, rook takes is mate. Pawn here, rook takes, and rook takes is mate. So we keep checking, but we're running out of checks. Or are we? No, look at that.
Check.
Oh no, we hung our bishop. Okay, well, I do stuff like this. So, but there wasn't a mate for white there, but there was a mate for white on e6. So that's what's important. So just keep this piece on the board. Don't lose it. Time to try to find a way to get it out of there. There you go. And I think that's the game. Yeah, white wins. So, whoops. Black clearly bungled. Let me make sure I'm still broadcasting. Yeah, it's still on there. Black bungled that piece on c4. It would have been a fight still had he not bungled it. So here's a case of thinking about what you can do and not watching what your opponent can do. So clearly we have to save this knight. Let's centralize him. Okay, I like now. Oh, wait a minute. We have a new problem. I'm paying attention. Okay, so maybe this was the mistake, and white is winning the piece. Yeah, you can't put the knight anywhere. So rook b8 apparently is the blunder. Yeah. So, what if black plays here? Now the point is that we're going to meet this. We can protect. It's protected. Okay, let's think this over. The rook is loose. Two pieces clogging the way. Let's save the rook. Black does have a passed pawn. Let's keep the bishop on the board and push it. That frees up this square for use for black, like I was talking about. Now, it seems like the game is a fight here. Okay, a good game by white. Yeah, where is this not? There it is. Okay.